Okay, pues.
Introduce us to the world, man.
Hey, what's up, world? All 14 people listening to us. Welcome back to another episode of Re-Enrolled. Hopefully you've been enjoying the past episodes. You might be like, who are these guys? Or you know exactly who you are. That's why you're listening, because you are family or friends. But for those who don't know who we are, this little episode, Carlos and I have kind of prepared like a little introductory to us. Not too deep, right? Just to kind of give some, what's it called? Like a hero story? What's it called? Like the hero stories of Batman? What's the word?
The journey? No, the
Oh my gosh. Come on.
origin story. The
Origin
origin story.
Yes, the origin story to re-enroll this podcast that you're currently listening to on your run, on your car ride, wherever you're at. So yeah, so we're gonna get straight to it. We have like questions that we've kind of prepared to hopefully give some more insight to whoever's listening. So strap on and hopefully you enjoy and get to know us a little bit better. So who are we? So my name is Jorge Valenzuela. That means nothing to whoever's listening to you, I guess. But I'm originally from Tucson, Arizona. That's where Carlos and I met, and we'll briefly talk about that a little bit later too. But I was born and raised. I'm a little desert rat. I was born and raised there in Tucson. But now I live in Mexico City. It's been kind of a little crazy route how we got here. But yeah, that's who I am. I guess that's a little gist, a little bit of who I am. I guess Carlos can share a little bit who he is.
Well, my name is a little too long to say out in public, but let's stick with Carlos Ramirez. And I mean, I was born in Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, which is if you know the city, you know where it's at. If not, you're probably not gonna know much about it. It's kind of in the middle. I mean, not in the middle of nowhere. It's
No.
towards the end of Sonora.
Don't disrespect Obregón, papa. It's a popular city, bro.
You think so? Is it a popular spot now?
I mean, Obregón is more known than Navajoa. Navajoa is smaller.
But I think Navajoa is more known, though. Navajoa is more famous.
It's infamous. It's infamous.
Yeah, I don't know if it has good fame, but it's more famous.
It is. For those who don't know, Navajoa usually is the butt of the joke for like Mexican jokes. For whatever reason, you can Google that. You can Google it, but yes.
And even though I was born there, probably most of my memories are here in Tucson as well, and this is where Joel and I have met. But yeah, I mean that's the intro. Like that's kind of, it's one of those tough questions that they ask you at interviews. Who are you?
Yeah.
Actually, I was listening to something that mentioned an interesting way to answering that question is answer that question without mentioning what you do or where you were born.
And we literally just do that.
We literally just said we were born. But I mean, it is who we are. It is a part of who we are.
But who are you? I guess, who am I? I think if someone would describe me, I hope that I try to be a joyous person, a happy person.
Yeah.
I try to be grateful for whatever
adventurous.
A little crazy, a little hint.
A little crazy.
A little spice of loquito, you know?
Hey, am I wrong about this, about you? Like, because we'll talk about this later, but we did live like 9 months together, 10 months together in New York.
Yeah.
But your personality right now, like joyous, happy, it kind of like, you kind of break into that during the day. Like you don't wake up that way. Like you wake up serious. I got no friends. You serve yourself. I mean, maybe now it's different because I mean, you're married now, but maybe back then in New York, I would just observe you in the morning and you seemed like you were a little upset. But then you walk out the door and you're like, happy Hoyt is back.
Yeah, I think Lynette describes it that I get energy from people. That like, because I'm so extroverted that when I'm around more people, like it feeds me or something.
That's interesting, because my takeaway was that there's a little bit of an introvert in you, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, Lynette would know you a lot better than me.
No, I mean, I joked around with her, like Lynette, I always joke around that I'm an introverted person. And she's like, no, you're not. Get out of here. But she's like, you're describing something you wish you were. And I'm like, that I think she's probably right. I wish I was a little bit more introverted. I think everyone's both at times of the day. I just lean towards being extroverted. But But yeah, I think that como todos, like if we have a moment of just peace and tranquility by yourself, you enjoy it. But I do feed off of people for sure, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, that's a better way to understand it than what I had in my mind.
How would you? Are you? I mean, would you consider yourself an introvert then?
I think I'm like a mix of both, honestly. Like I think I'm an extrovert around friends, which maybe doesn't even count, right? Because in order to be an extrovert, you need to be an extrovert like around the public, around people that you probably don't know very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's me. I think I can talk more and be a little more friendly and outgoing with people I know, and I like them, they like me, kind of a thing. But when it's strangers, it doesn't come out as easily. But I could be wrong. I'm kind of probably in between, like most of us, like
I
most
think all
people.
of us,
Yeah, like a range,
Yeah. So how do we meet? What's your story of how do we meet?
Here's my story, and actually, it's a cry for help. If anyone's out there listening and wants to help me, because here's the thing, Carlos. I think I've been a victim. I think Hoyt has been grooming me. Grooming me.
Grooming
me. Is that much worse?
He's been grooming.
I mean, that's pretty bad too. But I think he's been grooming me since we met for this purpose.
This moment.
For like a podcast or something else that's like a creative project.
I don't know.
Because when we met, it was through mutual friends and our love for soccer.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like it was a love for soccer. It's more like your love for soccer. I like soccer, but soccer's never liked me. Like it's kind of a one-sided love.
Whatever. You played for high school, no? You actually played like in an organized fashion.
Left bench.
You didn't play left bench. You started for a state game. Like,
I played a little bit, but it not nearly as much. Yeah. But anyways, back to my grooming story. Or grooming. I'm confused now. I was like a lot more, we could say shy, we could say introvert. Probably would have never even considered, like, we don't get paid to do this, but if we got paid, I probably wouldn't have done it back then. Like it wasn't in the radar of possibilities and what I would do. But here we are. After a couple of years of friendship.
Yeah,
I
traveling and
talking
chaos
a lot,
and
we
mistakes
just
both
went
ways.
For it, both ways.
Yeah, no, and okay, I agree. I agree with. I mean, I don't agree that I've been grooming him. I think how can I say it? I don't know. I always been like, in regards to friends, like I love genuine people, like who they are. They're not trying to fake this personality of whatever, right? Whatever that personality is. And I think the first thing that drawed me to Carlos was that he was so confident in who he was. Like he wasn't jealous of others because they were louder or whatever. Like he was just, this is who I am, and like me or not, like I'm confident and comfortable in my own skin. And I think part of me was like intrigued because like his way of being, his personality was so opposite of my personality. Like I felt like I wanted to get to his level of the word, not carelessness, because you care, right? You care what people think. You're not just out there doing whatever you want, but like almost confidence of like just owning who you are. Because I think there was an etapa of my life, when there was a phase of my life where I was more self-aware of people's opinions, and I wanted to get away from that. And I think I saw Carlos as like a guide hope. Like, how does he do it? Like, what is he doing? But every time I tried to like get in his brain, like ask him questions, guys, like he just rejection. Like, you know that girl Sally in high school who rejected you 82 times? Carlos did it 87 times to me.
Whatever. That is totally not true.
No, it's true.
Honestly, that goes back to what Lynette says about you, that you wanted to be, or you wish you were an introvert, but you're not. Because I think when I met you, that was kind of like you. Like you were the life of the party. We can say it out loud. Like Joel loves like social gatherings, at least back then, like dancing and partying. But you didn't want to be. Like you wanted to. You know what it was? I think you had like an internal conflict where you thought being the life of the party meant people
Loved
thought you
you.
were less serious or
Oh
less
yeah.
respectable in some way, which I don't think
Yeah.
that's true. But I think maybe
Yeah.
that was kind of your dilemma, and then you were looking for ways to be, maybe more quiet and more different, which
Yeah.
we just learned from each other, I guess. Which is the beginning of our relationship, right? Learning
Yeah.
from each other. I learned from you.
Yeah.
I think I became a little more like you in some ways without
Yeah.
losing who I am, and
Yeah.
maybe you have as well.
No, I
Yeah,
completely agree. I do think that looking back, like retrospectively, like I felt like I had built this like box of who I was, and everyone saw me as that person in that box. And like I
yeah,
think I got tired of it. I was just like, that doesn't resonate with me anymore. And I felt like every time I tried to escape it, people pulled me back into that box. Like,
yeah,
no, you're the entertainment. I'm like, I'm tired. Like, yeah, no
yeah.
me están pagando. Like, get out of here. Like,
Well,
but
have you seen that video of a kid, or I don't know if it's a little boy or little girl, in a competition? It's like a dance competition, but they're like crying but sad but also dancing. Have you seen
no,
that?
I don't
It's
think
really
so.
it's really funny because
That
for
was
some
me
yeah, that's you.
just crying.
Like at parties and dancing and being social but not wanting to be like.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such an interesting phase because there was for
Yeah,
sure like I'm not negating that I enjoyed it,
yeah,
but once that became my like joke that's who I was. I feel
yeah,
like people didn't think there was more depth in me. I feel like they saw surface level and that's who Joel is, like just surface
yeah,
level. And that frustrated me because I'm like,
yeah.
bruh, I'm more than just a dancing monkey, like I
Like
can do other
you're
things.
you're right. I am a good dancer and I am good looking, but there's more to me.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Like I want to be loved for what's inside.
I don't want to be a piece of meat, okay, Carlos? I didn't want to be a piece of meat.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. No.
So that was Jorge's dilemma back in the day, and that's how we met.
Yeah, yeah, and through that friendship, we would meet up every weekend to play soccer. They'd come over to my
Yeah.
house, play FIFA. That friendship just kept growing, and then eventually we started traveling together. And then
Yeah.
there was moments where we tried to start businesses together, and
Yeah.
we would always bounce ideas off of each other's. I think both of us were creative in that sense that they would like
Mhm.
to find maybe not a common way out of this system, right? I think
Yeah.
everyone working 9 to 5 and we're
Yeah.
willing to do it, but we're like, there has to be something else. And like both of us kind of try to find that something else.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I think even long before I was agreeing to a podcast and recording this and putting this out in public, like maybe I would have been okay with being kind of like a creative consultant. Like you come up with to me with hey, I want to start this podcast, I want to do this creative project, and I'm like giving you advice and asking you questions or things that you could do or not do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's been a long time that we have done that. Even before I was comfortable doing it myself, we were always talking about those kind of things together, which was like something that we did a lot, especially when we traveled together.
Yeah, some good times, and
Yeah.
throughout the episodes that we'll have in the future, like no doubt stories will pop up of things we've done together.
Yeah.
So
Some stories
like I
will
guess
not pop up, cannot pop up.
yeah, we have a little friend group that no doubt we have enough blackmail to just burn each other to the ground. And we always used to joke that it's just like a domino effect that if someone starts it, we're all going down. We're all just gonna get destroyed. Pero that seems a little dramatic, honestly. It's not that bad. Pero,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what are your interests and hobbies, Carlos?
So I put down a couple of things, but maybe we can talk about different ones because these are kind of the main ones. But I think we've also kind of changed over the years and started liking different things. But we kind of got to know each other through soccer, and we played a lot of soccer. We even did a lot of hiking together, which is something I don't do enough anymore, but I really enjoy it, and I should probably get back into it.
We did do a lot of hiking.
Yeah, we did a lot of hiking, a lot of personally, whenever I can get a chance to read, I do enjoy doing that. I know it sounds like a pretty cliche answer, but
for this type of podcast, right?
Yeah. But it is true. Like right now it's a rainy day. I would love to be able to just read a couple hours, and that's something that I enjoy doing. But the main thing probably just talking with friends. Whenever I'm not doing anything that I have to do and I have time to do like a hobby or something that interests me, just going somewhere for like a social gathering, but not like a big social gathering, just something with a couple of friends. I really enjoy that till this day. How about you?
I think, man, it's hard to top that. But I mean, those who might know, I'm into photography. Carlos is aware. I've been doing that for a long time. I think the way that hobby has kind of transformed and into different things is how I maintain it lively. But I do love photography specifically. If I had an ideal job, I'd want like National Geographic to pay me like 20
Oh,
grand to go.
wow.
Not 20 grand, but hey, go take a picture of this bear in Alaska, right? And like they cover all my expenses, and my job is just to get there and take a picture. That would be like ideal. I would love that. That would be so much fun. It's
20
almost
grand.
like it's almost like no, I'm just throwing a number. I mean, I'm down National Geographic. I'm down National Geographic. No, but I like it's almost I describe it as like hunting, like a hunter goes stalk a prey, but with my
Yeah.
camera instead of a gun. Like I want to just wait and be patient, and it's funny. I haven't done like really animal photography at all.
Yeah.
I think really, but it is something that attracts me. I just do more landscapes more than animals, but that'd be
Yeah.
something I would love to do.
I mean, I think that's a huge hobby for you. Like, maybe it's a little more than a
Yeah,
hobby for you, photography, but it is
yeah,
something that you enjoy doing a lot.
yeah. It's
You
a big
forgot
staple.
your main hobby about spending money, man. That's
Oh,
like your
I get
main
out.
thing.
Shut up. No, I'm not. Hey guys, I'm broke. I'm broke. No, no. Have you seen that meme of like that mom is like, "Hey, how much change do you have?" And the kid's like, "Not anymore. I made some bad financial decisions." That's me. That's literally me. I'm gonna try to find a clip of that meme and just include it in the clip.
That
But
is funny.
I am a big sports fan. I think I do
That's
enjoy
true.
sports. As you can see, if you guys have been telling by those who
Yeah.
watch the YouTube or clips, I am a Chicago fan, but every team except the White Sox,
Yeah.
the Bears, Chicago Cubs.
That is
You know,
something really cool about you, that no matter how busy your life gets, you can always like just say the scores for the games. Like, you always know. Like, somehow you just memorize stuff like the transfers and this guy is going over here. Like, I love soccer, but I don't think I've ever had that much love for it to keep up with that stuff.
yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's bad. I mean, there's moments where I probably joked with you, but like I invest like my mornings or my nights when I'm gonna go to bed and just check up on news and stuff.
Huh.
And honestly, I have to be more balanced with it. I always joke around with Lynette like, oh, if I start like a YouTube, I almost like to justify the time that I'm investing in it. But at that point, I have like 82,000 projects. Like it's too much. I can't do that much. But
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. I don't know. I think it's something that like we mentioned earlier, like we used to
Yeah.
do as friends, and I just kept doing it. I just
Yeah.
enjoy it. I will say I'm trying to be better now, more with being balanced, but still, I do love sports. I think the sport I watch the most is soccer, but I do like watch
Okay.
highlights for like like football, like American football, like baseball and stuff like that when I have
Yeah.
time, because like certain like baseball, there's like so many games. Like I don't watch not
Yeah.
even 1% of all those games, but yeah, I'm trying to think anything else. I love swimming. I think that's like a sport that I wish I could do more of.
That's
Like,
true. I totally forgot about that. You love to swim. Like, you don't just
yeah.
love watching swimming. Like, you actually like to
No,
swim.
I
Yeah.
love swimming, like doing laps,
You know.
just being in the water. I don't have to like. I'm not trying to say like I'm
Yeah.
this crazy athlete. As you can tell by my body, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy swimming, like just being in the
Yeah.
water, floating. I don't know. There's something really peaceful about it. Yeah, so that's a
Yeah.
little bit about me. I mean, I guess we can, being me, I can just keep talking, but that's a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit about myself.
Just like a light summary.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Um, we chose a couple favorite books or movies or podcasts. Some quick fire questions. What are some books, movies?
Well, when it comes to podcasts, let's start with that. I like
Yeah.
two different genres. Like, I like either funny or informative. Like, if I'm listening to a podcast, I want to be laughing or learning something. So I don't listen to everyone. Like, I don't think I have someone that I listen to every single episode, especially because a lot of podcasters release a lot. But I listen to Lex Friedman and Joe Rogan pretty often. That's like two podcasters that I find myself going back to. And I think I just like their concept. They invite interesting people and have interesting conversations. They do
Yeah.
that consistently, and some pretty cool things are going to happen. And I think that maybe we got some form of inspiration by them, but not really. And as far as
Mhm.
favorite books, I think we've gone over some of them, and we're going to
Yeah.
continue going some other ones. The Little Prince is probably up there in the list. The Great Gatsby. Those are the two main ones that I probably like keep going back to as my favorite. But obviously, there's a lot of other ones that I have interest
Yeah.
in. How about you?
Podcast. I think I relate to you what you're saying. I think that
Mm-hmm.
learning or being or laughing. I've also done a couple of. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure they're considered podcasts, but like almost like um audiobooks, but
Okay.
like those like the ones that have like sound effects. I forget. There's a specific genre. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like they're like you have to imagine the story, but they add a lot of sound effects and
Mm-hmm.
it's just really good. I've enjoyed a couple of like that type of audio
Oh, okay.
stuff. In regards to like actual podcasts, like there's a podcast called Curiosity Daily that I consume like if
Okay.
not every day, every other day.
Mm-hmm.
But what's cool about how they do it, I totally support them. They do like 10-minute episodes, and
Okay.
they always just share like 3 different facts, and then backed with like an explanation with links to the articles where they base that information.
Yeah.
But just like you learn like random stuff, like I liked it, like just to get myself thinking. And in regards to like funny, there's this podcast in Spanish called Bizarro. It
Okay.
just makes me laugh just because what they do is they analyze just funny news articles, like weird stuff that
Okay.
I don't know, like Florida man marries alligator, and they try to intellectualize that, like try to make it like why is this happening? Like what problem do we have in society? But it makes me laugh the type of articles they cover.
Yeah.
And my creative other one is like I like Creativo. I kill that
Yeah.
podcast a lot too, which is the same concept that you're saying basically with Joe Rogan, but in Spanish.
Yeah.
He's having interesting conversation with different artists or just scientists or different
Yeah.
people, and I like learning through that. So
It's really cool.
and yeah, so that's podcasts. I didn't write any books, but in regards to like shows, I love Sherlock Holmes. You got me onto Suits. You're the one that told me about that show. I like that show.
I told you before it was cool. Now everyone watches that show, I think.
I know you did.
Yeah.
You did. You told me like I don't know what 5 years ago or something. And then I like a lot of like Seinfeld,
Mm-hmm.
Friends, like
The
what are the
Office. The
like The
Office is great.
Office. Oh, The Office is awesome.
That is, if you ask me, like, what's one show you wish you could rewatch? I think that'd be it for me.
Like you mean like brand new? Like rewatch it brand new?
Like the same show, right?
Yeah,
Rewatch
yeah.
it as if it's my first time.
Yeah,
I would love to watch
okay.
that show.
Yeah, no, The Office is. So what's interesting? I didn't watch it until I got married. I don't know if it was just like the culture I was around. My family didn't really watch English shows.
Yeah.
And like I never watched Seinfeld until I got married. The only show I did watch like single or me as was Friends. And even Friends, I never watched like season 1 to season 9. Like
Oh, okay.
I watched like a couple episodes here and there. I
Yeah.
knew who the characters were, but
Yeah.
I didn't know the linear story that was being built,
Mhm.
that arc, so to speak. I
Yeah.
wasn't getting it. So yeah, those are a couple shows I like. I think it's
Yeah.
maybe a basic answer because I feel like a lot of people like those shows too, but hey, I like them too.
I think I'm saving some of those because I have heard great things about Seinfeld,
Dude,
Friends.
watch Seinfeld is so
Yeah?
good, bro. I totally recommend it. Lynette is like, oh, it's funny, and I'm always
Yeah.
like, sure, but I know it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I think I watched The Office during the pandemic. So maybe next pandemic I'll watch Seinfeld.
Hopefully not. Get those negative vibes out of here, bro. Like,
next time we're stuck at home for a couple years.
and that's the thing with like having projects and being busy. Like you have such a small window to really consume, but when you can, it's enjoyable.
So, getting to know us might want to take us back to our professional background.
How do you survive in this world?
How do you make a living, Joel? Actually, I really want to know that. How do you
Oh.
make a living? How do you make it happen?
So I'm I'm like one of those like gigs guys. I have multiple little side hustles that I try to manage, and it doesn't make me a lot of extra income, but it's something.
Yeah.
I have like a couple, I have my own website for photography. So I
Hmm.
do weddings on the side when they come up, or engagements. So that's one little, it's not my profession every day, but I do it once in a while. I also have a sticker business that I sell
Yeah.
stickers to different people, whether it's organizations, or I'm trying to get into the boutiques here in Mexico City. So hopefully that can go well. But my actual main source of income is like I do like graphic design slash
Yeah.
photo editorial work and videography work. Again, it sounds more advanced. Like I'm not editing movies, I'm editing social media content. I'm editing um, voiceover podcasts, things like that for a dealership in New York, a dealership group. It's a really big dealership group. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what I do. And I do that remotely, that work. And I'm very grateful that I have it. It's
Hmm.
very grateful for that company that allows me to do that, and hopefully I'm bringing value to them, and then
Yeah.
that's kind of what I do.
I mean, you always find something to work in. It's kind of incredible. Like even before, like when we went from Tucson, we'll get to this, but when we
Yeah.
traveled from Tucson to New York, before we even got there, you had a job. Like before we even arrived.
You know what's okay? So this is my little advice, if I have any to give. um I had this mentality of almost like a ladder, and you probably heard it before. I'm just probably regurgitating advice here,
Yeah.
but I didn't get so focused on the perfect job. For me,
Yeah.
is like get whatever to pay my bills, and then as I'm working, look for a better job. And once
Yeah.
I have an interview and it's looking good, then give my 2 weeks notice to my other job and move to like a ladder. I just try to keep moving forward, with,
Yeah.
with respect, right? Like I'm not like trying to backstab any business, um, my employers, but more so just being mindful. Like, okay, this is, and like if you're working at a chocolate store, no one thinks this is your end goal, right? Like, no one's like, this guy's trying to be here for the next 25 years, like no one thinks that. So yeah, I think that's what I've always done. I've been willing to take lower paying jobs
Yeah.
with the hope that I have more control over my time,
Yeah.
and hopefully allows me to do more. So that's kind
Yeah.
of my little way of how I've gotten thus far, and hopefully I can keep jumping ladders, whether it is with the same company or something else.
Yeah. And that's your system, man. That's the way you do it. It's your signature move.
Hey,
Me,
but hey,
I
hey, just to add, but this weird system has helped us out. Like we Quav and we worked for the same company at some point. At
we
some
did.
point we at some point we both had the same job in New York. We worked for Lintz
Yeah.
and automotive photography.
Yeah.
And then you added the little doctor like transcribing thing,
The
which was pretty
interpreting, yeah.
cool.
The interpreting.
Interpreting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So my background is kind of maybe similar once we got to New York, but before, like my first job, right after high school, after a life of crime, was
Okay.
working for a legal office for an attorney. And actually, it's kind of a funny story, but he wasn't a criminal attorney like with criminal law, but he was a criminal attorney. Like they did some pretty weird stuff in that office. Like I think
Yeah.
like documents would arrive for clients and they wouldn't give it to them if they haven't paid, which I think is a crime. They would falsify signatures. They would do all. I don't feel bad saying this because he ended up going to jail. Like I ended up
Oh
finding
no way.
after I left, like long after I left, I went online and I think I was looking for his name. I was gonna call him about like being a reference for a future job or something. Turns out he had actually did some time. Like he went to prison because someone complained and they investigated and they
Wow.
found out that they was doing some weird stuff. I think I could be wrong. Either he was suspended or he lost his license. Like I wouldn't be surprised if my first job, like the attorney that I worked for, can't practice law anymore. So that was my first job. And
Okay,
then after that,
question. Do you think this
yeah,
is like do you think that was like just a random circumstance, or do you think that practice is more common than we think in regards to the
Oh,
law world?
I mean, it left me a pretty bad taste in my mouth,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. But it was a pretty small office. I think
Oh,
if
okay.
you're talking about like a bigger office that's more organized, there's more procedures and rules in place, maybe you can avoid some of the stuff that happened here. Because I don't
Yeah.
think all of it was malice. I don't think they were
Okay.
purposefully doing bad things. There was some of that too. But I think it was lack of organization in some ways as well,
Oh.
right? Like they just lost some stuff. They didn't do their due diligence, didn't proofread the documents well enough, and ended
Oh.
up, costing. I mean, sadly, it costed people their freedom. That they could
Yeah.
probably end up in prison longer than they should have, or they ended up leaving the country because they couldn't get the immigration status they needed.
Dang.
So that was my first job.
Well,
But
I'm glad you left, bro. You think it would
yeah,
have affected you? You think you could have, like, if you'd have stayed, would it have affected you? Like, I don't know, like legally?
I don't think so. I mean, I was an assistant.
Okay.
Like I wasn't the one making any decisions in there, so I don't think it
Oh,
would have.
okay. Okay,
But still,
good, good.
yeah.
It's interesting.
So that was my first job.
It's
Then
fun.
I ended up getting my real estate license and going to work for a local real estate company here in Tucson. I worked there for a couple of years in property management. So basically, tenants. You deal with tenants, collect rent, try to collect some debt. That was an interesting story when I started calling people to pay debt. I mean, you learn a lot very quickly when you start calling people for money.
Dang.
But then we did that for a bit, and then we ended up going to New York, which maybe we can talk a little bit more about. And then I came back, and when I asked for a reference, because in New York we did a lot of different jobs. Like we worked for that
Yeah.
dealership you're talking about. We worked for a chocolate company, and I was a Spanish interpreter. Then I came back. I ended up working for that same real estate company again, but in different parts of the business, right? And I was more into the investment side when I came back, buying homes, handling the rehab projects, selling them, fixing them up, all the whole side of the business. And that's kind of like what I continue to do now.
Mhm.
My main source of income is this podcast now. So as you know, I've been doing a lot of fasting lately because you guys
So
just don't click that like button for some
oh,
reason.
insane. Hey, you gotta subscribe, guys. We gotta feed Carlos. Hashtag feed Carlos. Oh man, that's wild. Yeah, so Carlos has been my guide because he's so good with he's so something to know about Carlos is he is stingy with everything except food. He's willing to ball out. But other than that, my boy is so good with his money. Like he knows how to handle it, he knows how to save well. And I'm the complete opposite. Like I'm trying to be that, but I'm trying to apply what we've been learning with these books, but he's better at the actual practice of it. I'm good with theory, I understand, but I
Huh.
gotta apply. So but
No,
yeah, so
I think
that's kind of what
you're
we
being
do.
too kind, but
No, that's kind of what we
yeah.
do. And we did live together in New York, which was it was a blast. Like I had such a fun time.
We didn't.
Um,
I don't think we ever fought. Like between the three of us,
no,
nothing huge. Maybe there was some complaints about me or something like that, but I don't think we ever ended up fighting.
so
maybe I
to
looked.
get
Maybe I looked at you in the morning. I was like, "Why is that guy upset? He just woke up."
to give some perspective, some perspective. So Carlos and our friend Huab, who now lives in Switzerland, we all three moved together from Tucson to New York, together, and we roomed together. And honestly, like we're already really good friends back then, but this was a test of our friendship. Really, we're gonna see like what's up, like it's different, like hanging out every weekend to living together. But honestly, like I think we all like helped each other out. We were all balanced, and whatever little complaints, like we all responded. We weren't like, oh, I want to do whatever I want. It was like, no, I'm listening.
Yeah,
I hear you. My bad. Let me fix that. But
yeah.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun, man. It was cool. Like just living with my best friends and it was just so much fun, dude. Like I look back with
It was a
fondness
lot
of
of fun.
that time. And also
Yeah,
like another note is that it was like our first, at least you and I, it was our first move out of home, right? Like we
yeah,
lived with our parents. It was like almost like our college experience, right? Like
yeah.
moving out. But I mean, Huab, he lived by himself I mean, he lived with his grandparents in
Yeah.
Tucson, but he, his family was in Texas or in Guadalajara at the time. I forget where they were at,
Yeah, I mean, I
he
think we
he,
can
he
both
had
agree
more
that
experience.
yeah, he was a bit more used to being independent, but it was kind of
Yeah,
like the way you and I learned a bit more, right? You were
yeah,
kind of independent in some ways, but I mean, it
yeah.
changes it when you live
No, it's
completely alone.
different. Yeah,
There's
exactly.
one thing that I hated about New York, and that was our parking situation.
Oh, the parking was
every
annoying, dude.
every couple of days, we would have to walk and park far. And the worst thing about it wasn't even like it was our spot. Like people probably didn't like it that we parked there.
Oh no, no, and the thing is that we kind of damaged the grass. Remember, like we damaged the
Yeah.
grass where we were parking. Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, some context. We lived in again a really nice man, but we
Yeah.
lived in his basement, but he only had 2 parking spaces available
Hmm.
for that rental, and that was clarified, in the lease. Like we were aware of this,
Yeah.
but we asked him if it was possible to find a solution for the third car. Basically, he's like, "Yeah, I mean, it's on
Yeah.
you guys. If you guys want to do that and struggle, that's on you." So yeah, I forget what the plan was. I think it was like every day there's a different person parking
Yeah.
far, right? So
Hmm.
basically, you got to do it once every 2 days.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, and it wasn't like terrible. Like during the summer, it's whatever, but during the winter was when it was the worst, Or you had a late shift and you got home like at 10:30 or something.
Yeah.
It's freezing. We're from Arizona, like, and we had to do this long walk of shame,
Yeah.
like, ugh. But hey, ni modo. Oh, but the view is beautiful though. That lake,
Yeah. That is.
man, his
It
house is
is
nice.
quite. I mean, now that it's because when I was there,
Now,
it wasn't
oh,
filled.
that's right. It
Yeah.
wasn't. That's right. I forgot. So why did we start this, Carlos? Why do you like? Do we have a concrete answer for this? I feel like it's kind of like, why not? Why not start this?
I think. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe
Yeah,
this is just between us, but I think
yeah,
every group of friends always dreams of starting that podcast. Whatever it is, like might be a sporting podcast or a
anything.
different
Yeah,
kind, but they just
yeah,
want to start a podcast. And I think the reason behind it is you just enjoy talking, and you're like, this is pretty hilarious. Other people would like to listen,
yeah,
and it's not a wrong idea.
yeah.
Most people will never like move past that. It's more like
It
late at
dies in the
night, you're having
it
fun.
dies in
Yeah,
the WhatsApp group. It
dies
dies.
it dies before it starts.
Yeah,
But your attitude and my attitude or it became, I think, at some point the attitude of, well, let's just see what happens, right? And I think once I got past I guess I could say embarrassment of putting
yeah,
my thoughts out there
yeah,
and our words out there, and realized we're not that big of a deal in a way. And just
yeah.
start. I mean, I can admit it in front of everyone. Maybe right now it's not that cool, but if we get 100 reps in, 200 reps in, it's gonna be really cool. I think,
Yeah.
right?
And it's
Just,
been, but it's
just
been
like
fun.
anything, it
Yeah,
has
it's
been
been
fun.
fun. It's been fun. So,
Yeah,
like, I've always had the concept of, I think I've even shared with you like certain like projects I've had in mind. Like I have the idea of one day if I decided to have a child, like do like almost like a journal entry for that child, and I thought it would be
yeah,
so cool as a gift to my son or daughter, right? So for
yeah,
me, like this type of thing, it's beneficial. It's like almost a gift to myself. Like it's fun. Like I'm doing something with my really good friend, and we're doing the topics we're covering. It's beneficial. We're learning.
yeah,
So if I had to put on like the origin story to re-enroll, I think it's has to go back to just our friendship of wanting
yeah.
to try something new. And for those who don't know, I do have another podcast. It's kind of dead now. I haven't done. It's died. So I will admit to those who do podcasts where they have guests, it's a
Yeah,
lot more work. It's so much work to schedule people. Yeah, they have their schedules match when you can
yeah,
record and having entertaining conversations. So even though I love that project, it's still out. If you want to check it out
yeah,
near you, you're welcome to check out like the 15 episodes that's there. We had great conversations with different individuals.
yeah.
But anyway, so I've had like a little bit of like that bug of like, man, I had so much fun doing that. Like I want to keep doing it, but what's something I can actually consistently do on a weekly basis?
Yeah.
And I think you and I, like, I wouldn't say weekly, but for sure bi-weekly we'll call each other, just check in,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about, anything you've watched lately that you've liked, or a book.
Yeah.
And we just always, I don't know, I felt like we got deep into the subject matter. And I don't know, it just hit me. I'm like, why not just record it? I said, why
Yeah.
not do this? And that's kind of what happened. We just like, let's do it, And
Yeah.
as you can see, we don't have the most high-tech production setup, like you're in Tucson, I'm in Mexico City. We bought like, I don't know, what's our initial investment with our mics? Like what? I forgot, we're like $60 for the mics.
Well,
I don't remember.
You bought me the stand, or you gifted me the
Oh yeah,
stand.
the stand.
And I think the mic was like $60.
You just got headphones?
Yeah. Little things here and there.
Yeah.
And now that we're making watts of cash, I just got myself some new headphones and a new laptop.
The come up is coming, I guess.
Little by little.
I know.
But I think I totally agree with you. I think that's probably why we're having fun. Even though our hopes are high, like we're not gonna say we're selling ourselves short and what we hope to achieve with this. Our expectations are kind of reasonable, right? Like our hopes are high, but our expectations are reasonable. And not gonna lie, just like you, the podcast is for me. So as long as I'm enjoying it, we're gonna continue doing it. We used to talk about like books and ideas and courses all the time. We just didn't record it, and now we're recording it. These conversations used to happen regardless. Now just other people can learn if they want to join us, right? And I also think another side reason why I'm doing this is communication is such an important skill, right? A lot of people are great communicators when the stakes are low, right? Like when they're talking with friends, with family, hanging out, sharing stories. I even have a couple of friends where I'm like, man, this guy's a good storyteller. Like he something that's kind of generic and not very exciting, he makes it exciting. Like I would love to go grocery shopping with this guy, the way he's telling the story.
He's describing this experience like it was life-changing.
Yeah, but then you put him in front of a crowd and he might freeze, right? Communicating is not that easy when the stakes are higher. And that's kind of what we're doing. Even though right now we're kind of comfortable recording by ourselves, we understand that potentially a lot of people could be listening to this.
Yeah.
So that's our crowd. And, hopefully we, little by little, learned the art of communicating more effectively. And, I think that that's going to be huge for just the skill set to have, but also just enjoying the process. And I mean, that and the money. The money that this is making is crazy.
I know we're in the negatives. We're in the negatives. Yeah, no, we are not making anything. Carlos alludes to it as a joke. You're welcome to donate. We'll take it, but no, we're not, and that's another thing that I was happy that we chose a subject matter that we enjoyed, right? Because a lot of projects fail because the motive is a financial motive, right? Like it's a great idea, but it's hard to sustain a great idea if you don't love it.
Yeah.
So in our case, like, of course, like if this can somehow turn into something awesome, que le caiga, we love it.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I think this can be sustainable is because we truly just enjoy the engaging conversations we're going to be having, and hopefully someone else relates to it, And honestly, like we've had, I think this is episode 7, 8 with this one that we're currently recording. I think just in this past 8 episodes, hopefully our listeners can see progress. I think we're getting more comfortable. We're getting more natural with each other and almost disconnecting that there's someone listening. Almost just like, we're just talking about the subject matter and it's being super enjoyable.
It sounds like such a, we could say cliche thing people say, right? You have to love what you do. You have to enjoy what you're doing. And the reality is, it doesn't make it less difficult, right? Like setting up the time to prepare for these podcasts and scheduling it and separating an hour or two when we do record every week, that doesn't mean it's not challenging. But if you're not enjoying it, you're gonna stop doing it eventually, right? And I think that's really why enjoying what you're doing kind of makes a difference, because then you can persevere. Like even if, okay, this part is not enjoyable or this part is
Mm-hmm.
challenging, you can continue doing it. And I think that's probably something that I've learned over the course of the last 2 or 3 months that we've been recording and, doing this consistently, is I
Mm-hmm.
do enjoy it. I do enjoy the process, right? It forces me to set up the time to focus on this, and it's been a really nice experience.
Yeah, and hopefully, more people relate to it because like when,
Yeah,
like I guess the question is, what we want to achieve is just honestly self growth, and I think
yeah,
it'd be cool just to have like this library of conversations of
yeah,
of what we've read, right? Almost like a progress report of
yeah.
our own progress. Sorry for being redundant there, but
What Joel is alluding to here, for everyone that's listening, is that he's gonna have children pretty soon, and he
oh
wants
my god,
to he wasn't to have this as a kind of life starter pack. Listen
yeah,
to
yeah, exactly. So I'm dear Juanito.
it.
No, no, I just think I think this can be almost like again, it's a different version of when the camera was invented, right? Like you're
Yeah,
capturing memories with the device, and I think to a certain extent, this can be that, right? But
yeah,
via audio of just fun times, and I think most people, it's hard to relive those fun times. I think of
yeah,
older generations when there wasn't a camera, they have fond memories, but they probably can't remember the exact details, right? Of
yeah,
what happened, who was there. And even though they enjoyed it in the moment,
yeah,
I bet that if they could somehow relive it, watch,
yeah,
listen, they would, like hopefully none of us, I don't die tomorrow, but
yeah,
the beauty of things like this is that you could look back
yeah,
and watch these things if you miss somebody. I don't know, and those little things make me happy of like like this is awesome, we're gonna enjoy it,
yeah,
and a ver qué pasa.
yeah.
um
I mean, it's made us like think of everything differently. I
yeah.
think we were discussing the other day, like our price to content. You know, I don't think that's a thing. I don't think people that do podcasts think about those things. But we're kind of just making it up on the spot. We're like, okay, we prepared for 4 hours reading this book, and then we took notes for another two, and then we recorded for another 2 hours. So our price per episode was like 10 hours of our work.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a term, but like we're starting to think differently in a way.
yeah.
And I think like even right now, I'm looking at your hat and I'm like, we're gonna lose some followers. People hate the Bears. Like we have 14 followers. We're gonna lose 10.
Oh my, hey Bears fans, please follow and subscribe, show them what's up. what
He's
what
really
Watch the opposite happen. Watch the opposite. Watch Bear fans say that, you know what, just because he's wearing that hat, I don't read books, but I'm gonna subscribe.
So if you're in Chicago right now, please follow, because he's really betting on you right now. He's going
Yeah,
all in on Chicago.
bear down, bear down. That's hilarious.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
kind of like maybe goes over the beginning and what we hope, and what we're doing right now in the podcast, how we're
Mhm.
enjoying it. But what are like, looking 5 years ahead or 2 years ahead at least, what are your future plans with the podcast? Like, what do you hope to do? What do you hope to bring? Is it still up in the air? Do you have like a clear vision of what you want to do? Like, for me, it's like a mix. Like, there's some things that I do have in mind already, but then there's other things that I'm open to things happening and like changing. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of anything, any art. Like you
Yeah,
adapt to the times, right? So, do
yeah,
I know clearly what that looks like? No, I think we've already communicated like off camera, like what other things we could do to liven it up or change subject matter. Like we have ideas of like the title of this podcast is called Re-enrolled, right? If I mean, I have no doubt you understand, our listeners understand why, right? It's us basically going back to school, so to speak, learning again, maybe in our
yeah,
own way. But with that concept, I think we've talked about almost using that to our benefit. Like if we're in
yeah,
school, like, well, there's multiple classes in school,
yeah,
and maybe we can take an economics class, we can take an art class, we can take
yeah,
a health class, and I think can liven it up so it's not so repetitive. I think
yeah,
for our own sake, right? If we're only doing books all the time, I think it can be exhausting long term.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we can adapt and try new things. And
Yeah.
ultimately, the fun thing is, we're gonna try it, see how it goes, and
Yeah.
our goal is to read people's comments. So if you like something, please feel free to comment below that you're liking the subject matter, or you have, even
Yeah.
if you have an idea, shoot some ideas and maybe we can even try them out. But that's kind of something I'm thinking. What I would love to do? I would love to have like a custom soundboard for us.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if our wives are down, but like I would love to have our wives react. Like, I don't know, like Asco, or like I don't know, just funny things that can kind of add some spice to the episode. And what would be cool is like you have your own sound board, so to speak, and I have my own. And you don't know when I'm gonna like mess up your comment, right? Like cap, or like I don't believe you, or whatever. And I think that can like add more life to it. So there's a couple ideas I have.
That's pretty cool. I think you thought about the technical side of it a lot more than I have, because that's your thing. Like you are pretty good. It feels kind of one-sided because up to this point, besides preparing for the episodes and obviously contributing during the episode recording, you've done a lot of the legwork of like, loading up, downloading and uploading the episodes to the different platforms we've been using. But I hope that over time that kind of evens out a little more, and I learn that side of creating content more. That'll be good. But at the end of the day, I think I agree with you. Like, we want to bring our listeners a curated list of, different topics. Like, it could be books, courses, we might even do summarizes of big ideas, or, like you said, we might do like Economy 101 or something like that, and kind of bring that to the listeners and see what they like. Also, my end goal for the future of this podcast is to continue getting practice, like just practicing. And, once you get the reps in, seeing what happens. Like, I mean, I invite everyone to do this. Whatever podcaster you listen to, whatever podcast you listen to, go on Spotify or YouTube, whatever you use, instead of newest to oldest, do the opposite, to oldest to newest, and listen to the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then compare it to the newest one you've listened to. I guarantee you it's going to be a lot different. There's one exception though. Like, there's some people like have been in entertainment for like their entire life, or they've been, doing things like
bigger
that,
budget, and they have way bigger
or
budgets.
a huge budget, like a team behind them, and they can usually get the ball rolling starting like from the beginning, right? Like they're going to sound professional, they're going to sound pretty good. But a lot of the podcasters that had beginnings similar to ours, the first ones don't sound that good. They just, over time, they learn and they see what works, what doesn't work. Like, maybe next week Hoy learns not to use that hat. He's like, our ratings went down, man. And then little by little, we can learn and get better. And as this evolves and changes, we're gonna try to, hear your feedback, whatever you like, whatever you're enjoying more. And we're gonna be like, hopefully we can be that mentor that allows you to tip your toes into something new, right? Maybe you don't know a lot about, children's books. We're gonna go over a couple of them, and if you're interested, you can read the whole thing. That's never gonna replace it, right? Like, if we go over a course, if you want to get benefit from it, like, maybe download the course and take it yourself.
Try it.
But at least listening to this will give you an idea. Oh, would I be interested in that? Maybe I haven't thought about it this way. And that's something that I experienced, like, when I was in high school, during like sophomore, probably like prior to freshman year. If someone would have asked me, like, what's the course you hate the most? Like, what's like your least favorite course? I probably would have said literature, reading, English. Like, those would have been my ones that I didn't like.
And it's funny because I feel the same, dude. I feel the same. It's weird. Yeah. It's weird, dude.
But it took one good teacher. Like, I had a good teacher in sophomore year. And like, I remember like one lesson, and he was like reading a book.
Shout them out.
His name is Mr. Waklawick. I think that's his last name.
Waklawick. Okay.
Yeah, he had a strange
name.
Mr.
Waklawick.
But here's something that he told the class that I always remembered. Because we were going over a book, I think it was Shakespeare, and he was asking questions. And he's like, why? Like, why do you say that? Like, obviously the student was giving the right answer, but he's like challenging him, like, why? Like, why does it have to be that way? Like, what do you think? And basically what I learned from him, and he actually said it, is once you read it, you own it. And if you see something else, then say whatever you see in what you're reading, right? And I think that changed English from like a science like math where there's a correct and wrong answer
Mm-hmm.
to more like a journey. Like you can go take a trip to Mount Lemmon or a mountain range and focus yourself on different things and enjoy it differently every single time. The
Mm-hmm.
same thing with a book, right? You read a book at a different time of your life, you might pay attention to different things and take different lessons. And I think that's what changed after sophomore year. I was like, oh, books can be cool. Like I can read a book about a children's book and get lessons about being an adult or a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be this static thing that has a yes or no. And I think after that, my enjoyment for learning and reading kind of like began a lot more.
Yeah, it shifted. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel this. I feel the same. Like I think, and for me, what moved me to start reading was, and I'm glad it's shifted since then as well. But it did push me to start reading was honestly just a sense of, I didn't go to college, and there was like a sense of powerlessness that I felt like. I felt like I had the potential to keep going to school and learning,
Yeah.
but I felt like, okay, just because I didn't go to college doesn't mean I can't keep learning. And I think I forced myself to read to try to just grow. And then that motivation to just try it kind of like, oh man, this is good. And I really like this. And I honestly, like, it's the same thing. I think when we think of like English literature reading, we have these like books in mind in school that maybe we didn't enjoy that much, but there's just so much content out there that you can relate to, and there's a benefit to. So hopefully the curated books and lists of movies you might relate to, maybe you've never watched or read, but maybe this little sneak peek of the conversations we have might push you to read them. So that's the
and also
end goal.
like I think in order to enjoy the podcast, you have to get rid of this idea of I don't like or I'm not good at, right? Like I hear that a lot. Like even my brother, which I think he's really smart, he'll often say, "Oh, I'm not good at history.
Oh yeah,
I'm bad at history," right?
Yep.
And what that does to your mind, it kind of closes it because you're not gonna try to get better at something that you already out loud said you're bad at, right?
Yeah, you put yourself in a box.
Yeah, exactly. So, keep an open mind. Like, let's say you don't like children's book. Listen to a couple episodes about children's book and see. Maybe you end up liking it. And don't walk into the episode hating already. Like, maybe if you open your mind, you'll learn something, you'll like something. And it might, change the way you see an entire, section of learning or literature or whatever.
Yeah, and then communication is that bridge, right, to understanding. So I think, again, I agree. Like, just give it open mind, and I think it surprises us. Like, there's certain books that I have like a list of books that has been just recommended to me. Like, oh, you should consider this book, and again, I might not even like it, but I would love to but I'll even like that challenge, right? I like the challenge of like, okay, I didn't enjoy it, but let's have a critical mindset of, but what can I take out of this book?
Yeah.
And learn that even in the things you don't enjoy, there's always some little lessons you can pull out of it. So
yeah. Okay, we're getting to the end of our podcast or episode today, and we had a couple rapid fire questions. Fun questions.
How do you want to do this? Do you want to do I just go back to back all of them to you and then you do the opposite to me? What do you think?
Yeah.
Or do we go back and forth?
Well, if we're gonna make them rapid fire, we should go one at a time. Okay, so I'll do you first. Okay.
No, you got me.
What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? I had to choose my mom's cabeza.
Mom's cabeza. Okay. Dream travel destination.
Dream travel destination. I have the debate. We had a great time in Italy. We'd go back to Italy, but like south of Italy, like Rome, and then a little bit of Greece. Now, that's with my wife. If it was just sheer photography, I want to just go shoot. And of course, my wife is invited. But I would go to Argentina. I would love to go to Patagonia area. And I saw a great documentary on, I think it was Disney Plus, about pumas.
Okay.
And it just is beautiful and mesmerizing. So
how much would you charge for that? Because we know that National Geographic can reach out to you for 20,000. He'll go to Alaska. How much for a puma?
hey, honestly, I would pay it myself as long as they share my work. I would pay for it myself.
There we go. Okay. One word to describe yourself.
Loud.
Okay. At least
do you disagree? I don't know.
No, I agree. Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning. I think I am a morning person.
You are a morning person.
No, I think so. I think so. I mean, I didn't share this earlier. But, I mean, this is not rapid fire. I'm sorry, but I used to work in construction, specifically carpet installing, and I'd wake up at stupid hours at 2:30 in the morning to go to work. Whatever the case is, now it's in my system, and I wake up at 5:35 every day, basically. So
maybe that explains the moodiness in the morning. Like you're like, I don't want to wake up. But
I honestly, that is.
I'm just built this way.
I'm just exactly. It's in my code to just stand up and walk. No, honestly, I've gotten better at sleeping since I've been married, though. Like there's days where I wake up at 6 or 7, 7:30. So pretty good.
Nice. Okay. I think those were the ones we had.
Oh, those were it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. Wait, did we skipped the fun facts?
We skipped fun facts?
Yeah, but I thought we did. But no, we'll do rapid fire. It's all good.
Let's do rapid fire and then we'll go back to that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, your turn. Favorite food?
A good fish taco. That's my normal answer. That's like if I have $10 left in my wallet, I will have a good fish taco. Like if that's all I have.
Okay, what's the worth of a good fish taco? The $10? Like, would you pay $10 for one really good fish taco?
I would pay 20 for a really good fish
taco.
No,
you
wouldn't.
Have
to be a really good fish taco.
What?
No. But a fish taco is not worth $20. I've never paid $20, but I'm just saying that's how much I like them. Okay, okay. Let me clarify. Like
fish taco in Tucson, Arizona. You know your clientele. Up the price.
Okay, I would not pay $20 for those. But if I went to on a vacation with you to Italy and they were selling this amazing fish taco for 20, I think
and there's a beautiful and if there was like a beautiful view, like you can kind of like make it valuable, right? Okay.
Actually, I regret saying 20. 20 is a little too high. Okay, but let's say I just got paid and I'm not looking at the bank account. A Connecticut style lobster roll.
Oh, I've never had them. I've heard those are delicious. I never had it, bro.
They're so simple. It's literally just good bread, good lobster, and good butter and seasonings. It's amazing. It's out of this world, but it is pretty pricey for what you're getting.
Okay.
For what, you won't get full with one. You'll just taste it, and it'll be like $35, $40.
No.
Yeah. Crazy. But that's only every once in a while.
So as you can see, friends, those who are listening to us, I'm the poor guy. He's the bougie guy.
No. We just divide our budget differently. Like my food budget takes over my clothing budget, my vacation budget, my car budget. Everything else.
I love it. Okay. Dream travel destination.
This is gonna sound crazy because you might say I've been there. New York. But check this out. This is a twist. New York with money. I've never been to New York with money. I've only been to New York poor and broke. So like, if I got someone called me, hey, here's $100,000, but you're not gonna get a single dollar. You have to spend the entire amount in New York. I think that would change it. That would be totally different.
I mean, with those variables, wouldn't any place be amazing?
No, but I think there's something about New York. The food. Yeah.
Are you a big city guy, Carlos? Like, do you love like would you live in New York City? Like, would you live there?
At least a summer. I would. Actually, I would.
Pero cuenta un verano, pues hasta yo. Like, un verano.
Un verano hasta en Mexicali.
La verdad, okay. But
these are not rapid fire.
What about no budget?
Okay.
Not, normal.
Yeah. I think I would love to try a relaxing vacation on an island somewhere. And honestly, the island doesn't matter where. As long as there's very little civilization. It's just my wife and I in a small... Actually, we have to land with one of those planes that lands on water.
Dang.
And
Survivor style.
Yeah. Literally,
Dang.
no one knows who we are. We just land there. There's very few people, and none of them speak our language. That's the cheaper.
You and that language thing, bro.
Okay, that's gonna have an inside joke. We're not gonna go over that one. Okay.
Okay, one word to describe yourself.
I honestly like to say curious. I think I am curious. Even if there's something I don't agree with, and they're talking about it, I'd probably be the guy that just listens and be like, So that's how I would describe myself. Maybe not everyone would agree, but I think when I was thinking about this, that's the word I would choose.
Man, you chose such a wise word. I'm over here saying loud, like.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. I agree. Like, curious is a good answer.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
It used to be tea. Before I got married, it was tea. Now, after I got married, it's definitely coffee. Here's the sad part, though. It might not even be coffee. It might just be sugar. Like, it might just be the frappes and the lattes and the caramel, like all of that. But yeah,
okay.
I do find that I drink a lot more coffee than tea. Actually, I don't drink tea.
This is how I'm gonna find out. What's your order at Starbucks? Like your order, not your wife's, just your. Like you're by yourself. You're gonna go get yourself a coffee. What do you get?
I get a blonde vanilla latte, which is like the weakest bean, I think. So that kind of gives you some context. I put 1 pump of vanilla, 2 pumps of toffee nut,
a lot,
and caramel drizzle. I might be the occasional extra caramel drizzle guy.
Dude, I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, right? Because you included a latte, right? And a latte doesn't have naturally sugar, right? If you it's just milk, steamed milk, and the double shot of espresso. So I was like, you said you included latte. I was like, oh, maybe he thinks latte has sugar in it. But when you add like pumps of vanilla and all that other stuff, like it makes it sugary.
On my defense, though, in my defense,
yeah.
There's some people that put like more than 4 pumps, and I do 3. Sometimes I do 2. Sometimes I do 1 vanilla, 1 toffee nut. Okay. Some people like end up like adding 4 pumps of whatever they use. So I'm not the worst one out there. I've actually seen.
You're not.
Have you seen this? I think on TikTok, there's a guy that works at Dunkin' Donuts. Have you seen him?
No.
And he records the craziest order he gets.
Oh yeah.
There's some people that get like
great content.
30, teaspoons or 30 servings of sugar, or like when you look at the cup, it's a large cup, and more than 3/4 of it is full with sugar, whether it's plain sugar or syrups or caramel or something.
Man, we're so addicted to sugar, bro. That's wild.
Crazy.
No. Wow. Yeah, no. Well, if you just go to your local Starbucks, just ask for the Carlos. They'll know what it is.
Trying to die quick special.
Okay, so morning person or night person? Night owl.
Man, I feel like this is rapid fire, but I'm not gonna give any straight answers to anything, because here's my answer to that one. I am cursed to be a night owl that wants to be a morning person.
Oh my gosh!
Like, it is my goal to become a morning person like you. I'm like uncommitted night owl, like, because I don't enjoy staying up late, but I naturally tend to. Like, right now it's almost 10 and I'm not feeling sleepy at all. Like, some people are cranky if they're not asleep by 9. And I think you're a bad combo though, because you're both. You go to sleep late and you wake up early.
I'm bad. And the thing is, I've gotten better at that, but still I am pretty bad too. Like, hey, but is Lexi more of a morning person, or no? Is she also like night owl like you?
She's more of a morning person. Yeah, when we first got married, she was really a lot more of a morning person. She would wake up at like at 5:30.
Yeah, because she'd go work out, right? Like that
work out at the time. Now I think she's become a little more flexible, because we go to sleep late, right? So it wasn't sustainable, and she works out after. But before, like when she had the schedule of working out before work, she would wake up really, really early.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's basically it. Oh,
you want to go back to the fun facts or no?
Yeah, we'll just knock it out. Why not? Yeah, we have these questions already.
Okay.
So I already have you on the spot. So what's an interesting fact about you that most people don't know?
Yeah, I struggle with this one because I don't know if there's anything, at least not anything shareable, I guess. But
Something that won't burn me. Yeah.
Extremely afraid of needles, which
right?
Oh,
I know this.
Like it is kind of an unhealthy fear that I have. But honestly, I think anyone listening to the podcast right now knows that. Maybe in the future they won't, but right now they probably do.
I have a fun fact about Carlos.
Oh, no.
So I have a fun fact. My boy, when we both had graduated. You graduated high school.
Yeah.
A record, like it was like one summer. He got his key stuck in his car like 9 times. Like he would call me and he's like, bro, otra vez, bro. And I'm like, Carlos, ¿cómo? Like, how do you do it so many times, bro?
I would love to go, bro. I just can't make it.
The only reason that doesn't happen anymore is because his car won't lock if it leaves a key fob inside.
That is actually a very, sad fun fact about me.
Okay. Do you have any funny? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna ask you.
Okay.
Or you want to go with the next one? Go.
Yeah, let's do all of them. It's not come out. Do you have any funny or memorable stories from our friendship?
You're not gonna like this one. This is, hashtag broke stories, or I'm sure there's a tag on Instagram for like this kind of story.
Yeah.
But we once took a trip. It was like a 4-day trip. It wasn't even a short trip, and we didn't rent a hotel. So we ended up traveling around Seattle and basically the entire Washington state without staying in a hotel for like 3 nights, or at least 2 or 3 nights.
It was pretty legendary, though. It was pretty legendary.
We slept. We didn't sleep that much.
We didn't sleep well. Yeah, we didn't sleep. Yeah,
and it's crazy. Like I don't even know.
We're bougie hobos, bro. We're traveling hobos. Like that's what we were. Like. No, that was wild. I think we just assumed it was a massive city that there's gonna be some hotel with one room available. And mind you, we were like, what, 22, 21 when we went? I don't remember how young we were.
2017, 2018. I mean, honestly, at that time of my life, I would have taken an invitation to a trip anywhere. Pretty much anywhere. Like, the barrier was so low. Like,
yeah.
You could have been...
Hey, well, even the story of how we went, like, you gotta share that. Like, you already shared it. Like, how did we decide to go? Do you remember?
It was the cheapest ticket we could find, wasn't it?
Yep, that's it.
I think it was.
That was the only reason. I think that's why we didn't book a hotel either. Is that we were just like kind of like overwhelmed with our little stresses at that age.
Yeah,
and we're like, bro, let's just get out of town. Let's like turn our phone on airplane mode and just get out of here for a little bit. And then we just looked on Google Map or Google Flights, and we just found the cheapest flight from Phoenix, and it was to Bellingham, Washington, which for those who are from there, shout out to you guys.
But and we flew Spirit, right?
And we flew Spirit, yeah. We did. We risked our lives.
Actually, on our flight back, they had trouble getting us out, right? Like I think they overpacked it or something.
Overbooked it, yeah.
Overbooked it, yeah. So they started giving offers like, we'll offer you a $400 credit.
Yeah.
My boy here was about to take the credit at $1,000.
I was like, I'm down, bro. I don't know. I'm down to sleep one more night in a car for that.
But we decided to just do it, like just leave.
Yeah.
Because we knew that someone was going to accept at some point. And I think they did. But once we left, there was an employee from the airport literally hammering something on the plane's wing.
Oh, remember
did you see that? Remember that? Man.
Yeah. We were like, we're about to die. We're about to go out. That's a great story. It's a great story. Let's see. I think that's it. Those 2 questions, right?
Yeah. So that's your turn. What is an interesting fact about you that most people don't know?
I extremely dislike, without using the word hate, reality TV. Specifically the reality TV that's like drama related. I don't know why. Lynette's found some TikTok, or my mother-in-law, shout out to Yasmin, she's probably listening. She found this TikTok that said that what an empath is, and apparently she thinks I'm an empath. I don't remember exactly what that means. Long story short, I take on people's stresses. So when I watch reality TV, like me estreso, bro. Like I want to solve their problems or something, and I'm like, and I hate it. I cringe. So that's a dumb, interesting fact about me. And I mean, you know this. I had a hot dog stand in Mexico for like
That
almost a
is
year. Yeah,
a
so
really cool fun fact about Hawaii.
yeah, so I had and that's something I would be willing to do out here if I had to, Mexico City, because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So yeah, those are my 2 interesting facts.
those are pretty good ones. Okay, how about you on the funny or memorable stories about from our friendship?
I think I'm not sure if I mentioned it before in other episodes, but what I wrote down was that this wasn't our first project together. RIP to cooltured.com, which was a website that we both put money into, and we wanted to become the next Zuckerberg or something. It was a great concept. It's and funny enough, I would argue it's the cousin.
Yeah,
I would argue Re-Enrolled is the child of that website,
yeah,
because the whole premise of that website was we have so much access to information nowadays, but I think young people less and less want to learn. So the
yeah.
concept was to get cultured. Again, super cheesy now looking back about it, the name. But
Man, terrible.
but people would go and learn based on like
Yeah,
the Google Maps of an area, and in a
yeah.
fun, enjoyable way.
But we've been kind of paving the way for this though, because like everyone says that most business owners fail the first time around. So we had to throw a couple failures. Like we had to pave the way in some way. So hopefully
Yeah.
this makes it. And
Hopefully. Yeah.
I think that's just what you have to do.
You just gotta do what you gotta do. I think that's the story I wrote down. And I wrote down again here about you getting your key stuck in your car, but I thought was hilarious. But I already shared it a little bit earlier. But yeah, that was kind of an intro to us, guys. Again, if this is longer than you expected, thank you for those who stayed on. Any last words, Carlos?
I mean, the usual stuff, hit follow, like, click or smash the like button, actually.
Smash.
And, I think as we get more views, we're going to start upgrading stuff. Like, if you don't like the quality of the video, you just keep watching. Maybe we'll get higher quality cameras, better computers, little by little with your support. And, just give it time. If you sort of enjoy listening to the episode, we're going to hopefully be here in 6 months or a year. So just continue listening and, don't forget to comment, maybe suggest something. And if you happen to win, get our attention, we might feature you in a video.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for all our listeners. And yeah, just stick around. Hopefully you enjoyed this, a little bit more insight into both our minds. And no doubt there's many stories that Carlos and I will share throughout the podcasts. So stay tuned. And as always, stay curious.
And that wraps up our discussion for this episode.
We hope you enjoyed diving into this topic as much as we did.
If you found value in our conversation, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review.
And share this episode with your friends and anyone else who loves to learn.
We've got more exciting topics coming up, so stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us on Re-Enrolled. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious.